destroyed, brah. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is Pro View. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on Pro View Networks.
Thursday opening drive. Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck, DC. How you living?
What it do?
Well, this one was a bit of a surprise to the people there. First thing, your guy Aiden, the what do you call him? The guy that's following you around, that's shading. Is he an intern? Is he a shadow? What? How do you refer to the young fellow that's been kicking around here that I found in the lobby this morning?
He is an intern.
All right, the intern. First thing he said this morning, I can't believe the Lobos lost this. And I think that's how Lobo fan feels. And I said, why can't you believe it? Well, we were ranked 19th, and it was in the pit. And if that's what you're relying on, that's what this league is about. For whatever reason, and I've watched this for years, Boise State plays well in the pit.
They do. They rise to the occasion, especially Max Rice. He's ready for the big moment. He was last night, and we had the conversation yesterday, and we brought up Kyle Shanahan's comments on his San Francisco 49ers about
Close games.
And hey, sometimes you go through stretches where you're just blowing people out the door. It was an unexpected stretch for the Lobos when you look at winning 5 straight games, which included San Diego State and Utah State, by 20 points per game. And so you get caught up in it. It's easy to get caught up in the hype, in the momentum, as everyone should have last night. When you go to the pit and the Lobos are 11.5-point favorites over Boise State, but then it's, all right, how do you respond when it's not one of those games? And for the Lobos, there was a lot of frustrating things that Boise State caused, but they were a team that, during the streak, they didn't look anything like that team last night.
The Lobos. So they didn't turn Boise State over like they've been turning other teams over. The Broncos only turned the ball over 11 times, and the Lobos only had 4 steals. The Lobos have been creating turnovers with steals and getting points off of those turnovers. How many points do you have off turnovers last night?
6.
It's not the way. To your point, they got out-rebounded last night. 41-33, Boise State. Boise State came in and they're big. Ogbo was really good, but Stanley up front was terrific. Degenhardt's always been a problem for New Mexico, and so they came in. Boise State shot a decent percentage, 48.5%. And then there was Max Rice. And the stuff that he was throwing in, JJ, especially in the second half, beating the shot clock and just chucking balls from all over the pit floor. Max Rice was the difference. I mean, it's easy. There's a career-high 35. I think he had 24 in the second half. And you had no answer for a guy who just was feeling it last night. 7 of 14 from three-point land, 12 of 20 overall. He had 5 rebounds to go with a couple of steals and an assist. He turned it over twice. And, I mean, one guy was the difference last night, don't you think?
And one guy was absolutely the difference. And then also what Boise State was able to do is the Lobos weren't able to find a rhythm when they weren't speeding the game up, weren't getting the turnovers. I didn't like the way the offense looked last night. I know they scored 78 points, but I thought they settled for way too many jumpers.
A lot of one pass and a jacket, yeah.
That's a credit to Boise State's size and Boise State's defense. And there's moments where this team, and we saw it against UNLV the first game in Vegas, where they can just kind of go into a shell against length and physical teams. And they did that last night. And yeah, Donovan didn't went off and was getting his going to the rim
whenever he wanted
at will. Yeah. But some things were just off. And that's the frustrating thing is, yes, after the game, Rich Pitino was like, we lost. We feel good where we're at right now. We get back to work. But to be home and then still have a question of, how do we play better half-court defense? How do we play better defense when they're not turning teams over. But that's what now they have to focus on as they get ready for Wyoming. They have extra time to prepare with no game this weekend.
Open date of this weekend. They will not play this weekend. They'll be in Laramie next Tuesday, and it won't be an 8 o'clock game either. When I could have used the 8:30 game when I'll be on the East Coast, when that actually would have worked for me by the time I get in and land, and it's not about me. But they'll play Wyoming. So, all right, here we go. Lobo fan. Rich Patino says, "I like where we are. You should. You're 6-3. You're a game and a half out of first place in the Mountain West. You, for the most part, held serve at home. You got beat last night by Boise State, who's now climbed over you into second place in the conference standings. You're 6-3 overall. You are 1.5 games out, and you are 18-4 overall, 6-3 in league play. Last night, by the way, Dent was terrific. Dent creates, and I think he's a guy that I thought, JJ, I really believe loves making the great pass, looks to be pass first. But last night, whenever he wanted to get to the rim, he got to the rim. He was 12 of 18 shooting last night. Donovan Dent had a career high 31 points last night, 2 assists. And the Lobos only had 9 assists on 27 baskets last night, which, again, kind of not exactly what they've been doing over the last 5 games. But a lot of that was Dent taking the ball to the hole. Toppin had 15 rebounds to go with 8 points, and I thought he was good. Cold shooting night for Jalen House, 2 of 15. And now he had 12 points. You had 3 Lobos in double figures. I thought Dent was terrific last night.
Dent was awesome. But it's also one of those things that if your opponents, and if Donovan Dent's scoring 30 points, you're going to like your chances. Because that means the Lobos aren't playing offense.
Doing what they want to do.
Yeah.
Having him distribute and getting the
if Dent is attacking the basket, getting you buckets, and you saw during that stretch, he was scoring like 15, 10, 11
right
in that
Everybody
area.
was right in that 12 to 17 range.
And that, I think, game of Boise State, you're like, all right, Donovan, you had some unbelievable finishes at the rim.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
But they needed it.
They did.
They needed it. You know, Amsil was he had 6. You got 9 points off your bench. House was having an off shooting night. He was 2 for 15. Mashburn was 6 for 15. They weren't getting the ball inside.
I think the biggest thing that surprised me is how they looked defensive, and they could not rebound the basketball.
Got out rebounded by 41-33 margin. Offensive rebounds last night for Boise State, they had 13 of them. It's where the Lobos have been looking.
17-9 advantage second chance points.
Yeah, it's a big number. You mentioned you didn't like the way the offense flowed. Do you think the bigs are getting enough touches in the half set offense?
Well, not if you look last night and
they had 9 shots total between
combined.
the 2 of them.
Yeah.
Do you think it needs to go through them more? I mean, look, this is a guard based offense, right? And this is, and I think I might agree with you. Yeah, this is what they've been doing. They won without going through the post. So I don't think they need to change it. I think I agree with you. I mean, the question's there to be asked, but I think the answer is no. They just didn't make shots, right? They didn't make enough shots. They shot 41% last night. Mashburn 6 of 15. He had 14 points. So, Lobo fan, you were up late last night. You watched the Boise State Broncos come in, and how do you feel? Now it's the open spot in the schedule, and you'll go to Laramie. By the way, teams are losing at Laramie. Cowboys are not a bad team. They are 5-3 in league. They beat Nevada up there. They have won 4 of their last 5. Who they beat? I don't know. Fresno State, Nevada. They lost to San Diego State in San Diego. Beat Colorado State up there, 79-76.
I still don't know how Colorado State lost that game. And I've watched the ending of that game. I've watched it on Bad Beats. And it's 11 points with 1:10 left.
Is that right? I didn't see any of that.
Colorado State was up 11 with 1:10 left.
And Wyoming got them. And that's the border war up there, man. That means so much to those people. That's the border war up there. They will Wyoming. They'll be at UNLV this weekend, and then home for the Lobos. As for New Mexico, so January is over. It is now February 1. By the way, happy February. Welcome to the second month of the year. So JJ, you said they needed to go 7-2 in the month. They went 6-3. Yeah. You okay with that?
I'm okay with that, given what we've seen from everyone else in this league.
All right, here's what's coming at you. You go to Laramie next Tuesday. Next weekend, that UNLV team who beat you there comes in. The weekend after that, or the week after that, you go to Reno on Tuesday, San Diego on Friday. 2 road games. Come home for Colorado State, the team that beat you. Then you get Air Force. Then you got to go back up to Boise, Fresno at home, and you'll end up in Logan. Utah State's in first place with 1 loss. So that's where we are, Lobo fan. The final number last night, late in the pit, 86-78. How do you feel? 505-246-0610 is how to get here today. You can help us. My voice is a little shot today. How you feeling? A little roadie yesterday. Ladies were winners on the road yesterday in San Jose.
Feeling good. It was a good day. Go get the dub. Win by double digits in back-to-back road games at Air Force, at San Jose State, and it was a perfect time to stack some W's together because UNLV, who won at Wyoming last night, 8-1 in Mountain West play, is coming for revenge on Saturday at the pit.
Saturday could be fun. What time's that game at the pit?
2 p.m.
Yeah, that's kind of, and that could be fun because you got their attention. If you're in New Mexico, you got UNLV's attention. They had been rolling through everybody, and then you went into their place. Not only did they not lose, you went into their place and beat them there. And so I think Saturday at the pit is going to be something with UNLV coming in. I got this before we got off the air yesterday. It says, Jeff, it's from Maurice. Why are the Lobos playing at noon on Wednesday? I can't watch that. Like you, I'll be in a big business meeting. Are they going to get any real fans or just a bunch of screaming kids?
It's supposed to be a Kids Day game, but they canceled it.
They canceled the Kids Day?
Mm-hmm.
So they just had an empty gym?
Just a couple hundred people.
Yeah. Over under my 125.
I think it went over.
Officially, or did you count?
It was close. It was close.
It was right at the number.
Yes.
All right. 505-246-0610. Jerry Palm from CBS Sports will be with us. That's at 8:30 this morning. Going to talk to Jerry about his latest bracket, where he sees his team, the number 1 team in the country. Purdue's still number 1, right? They had number two. They had to hold on yesterday. They almost got beat in the Big Ten. They had to go overtime. We'll talk to him about the state of college basketball, where it is, latest bracketology with CBS Sports, Jerry Palm. That will be at 8:30 this morning. Let's talk about the next step with Dak. What do you do? Because all of a sudden, Dak is like the hot topic. The big quarterback. Is there going to be a quarterback carousel? And we'll hear from Richard Pitino a little bit later in the show from last night's postgame. It's the opening drive. I want to hear from you this morning, February 1st, on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal, your home for Super Bowl 58.
Hey, it's Rich Eisen here. Join me and my compadre, Chris.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Spout, get ready.
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep. ProView Networks.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, ripped, plastered, taint, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight. Boom. Boom.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
I know I was there, but
JJ had that call. How many in a row is that for them? 5 in a row. And Vegas coming in on Saturday. They are rolling. They are 7-2 in league. Larry, you want to talk about that? Good morning, Larry. You're on the Sports Animal. Good morning. Let me do that again. Hello, Larry.
Okay, I got you on my Bluetooth.
Yeah, no, it's good to hear you. What's happening?
Hey, fellas. So thanks for taking the call. I have to tell you guys, I think I always say this when I call UNLV alum from New Mexico. JJ, I have my hats off to you on that interview with Anaya Ogman before the game. I was like, I want to call you guys almost after every interview you have with these student athletes. A few years ago, you guys had an interview with a young man that from the football team that on his birthday, his teammates went out with him and handed out water and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches to people in need in the Albuquerque area. And that interview was really powerful. And yesterday, JJ, that interview with Anaya was spot on. And being a Stacey Ogman fan from the 1991 running Rebels, I was like, whoa, this is absolutely rad. So JJ, my hat's off to you with that interview with Anaya Ogman. And what I wanted to say was, I was listening to it on Bluetooth yesterday at work. I work in a cubicle area, and I thought I had it turned down low where I could listen to the game. And one of my coworkers is like, "Man, turn that up. What's the score?"
Nice.
So other people were like, were tuning in to the game. So Man, I'm so glad you guys have this app because we're able to follow the Lady Lobos. A couple years ago, when the men weren't doing so well and the ladies were absolutely just ripping, the Lobo Nation from the surrounding area started to show up to lady games. And this Saturday, even though my heart's with UNLV, man, I'm from here in New Mexico. My little girl's going to graduate with her bachelor's this year from the Lobos. I'm a Lobo dad, and this is one of those really fun games that really tears at my heart. I would just ask that Albuquerque and the surrounding area show up this weekend and get behind those Lady Lobos. They have an opportunity to really put a footprint in the Mountain West, and this team is electric, man. They are so disciplined. This coach is finding a way to bring out the very best, and man, I'd just like to get your guys' thoughts on that, and I hope Lobo Nation is listening. I know it's really early in the morning, but I sure wish people would show up this weekend and support those ladies. They are phenomenal student athletes.
Larry, appreciate you. Thanks for calling. Thanks for finding the app, and thanks for listening. And that's good stuff.
We do have an app.
Yeah, who knew? That's good.
I appreciate that.
You. That's nice words.
I do appreciate it. The student athletes are awesome. Phenomenally chance to get an opportunity to speak with them. They've been great conversations, and this team, it is a little bit different than past years about how they've had to grind through things, how they have to play. But every time I talk with Coach Bradbury, he says, this group they're just locked in, and it really doesn't matter what happens. They don't get too high or too low, and it was really important with this team because they can get super streaky offensively, and it makes things rough, and you have to pick it up on the defensive end. You have to be able to grind through some moments where you're not shooting well, because when you think of women's basketball last few years, you think of a team that's running and gunning and shooting threes, going from Jaden De La Cerda to the Duff sisters, and now this year's team, they have Vianney Cumber who can hit threes. They're about attacking the basket, scoring at the rim, getting in the free throw line. Man, being here 7-2 with wins overwhelming in UNLV, knowing the kind of energy that UNLV is going to play with on Saturday, especially after they just won in Laramie last night. It should be an epic day.
Nia Ogman last night, yesterday afternoon, I should say. 4 Lobos in double figures. Nia Wilson led the way with 14. And the Lobos win by the score of 65-54. 5 in a row, and they'll be back home, and you can watch it. It's really good stuff. And I so enjoy the conversation with the student athletes. Sometimes they're not made as available as I wish they would be. Football was really good with it. We would get one every Thursday to have conversations, and I know you enjoyed that. And it's not like we're not trying. It's something that we really like to do, and I'm glad you appreciate that. All right, there's a lot of talk. Where should Justin Fields go? What's going to happen with Dak? Jerry Jones said this week, Dak has done nothing to change my mind about any promise for the future. I think I've said in the deal that we will go as far as Dak takes us in the playoffs. Remember that. We'll go as far as Dak takes us. And that is how far we went. So my point is that doesn't change. We'll go as far as Dak takes us. End quote. All right. We had a little bit of this conversation. He's going to want a number. They're going to have a number. I think he's their quarterback this year. Does he get that $55 million? I'm looking. Kirk Cousins is going to get 45 probably from Minnesota. I mean, is he better than Kirk Cousins? Should he get more than Kirk Cousins?
I think they're very similar quarterbacks.
Right.
Both kind of looking for that one postseason run, really put themselves on the map because they're great regular season quarterbacks. They are. Look at the numbers. Look at what their teams have been able to do when they're healthy. And really for Dallas, I think you want to find the happy medium of it's not necessarily getting a discount on Dak Prescott, but I don't think you're looking at a 5-year deal. No, I think you're looking at more like a 3-year extension on top of it with a year or two where there might be a team and or player option to where Dak can get some good guaranteed money early, but you have to make that adjustment so you can hit this offseason to address other things on the roster, as does any team in this situation with a good quarterback that you don't want to pay great quarterback money.
I think that Jerry's made it pretty clear. He's running this thing back next year. He thinks he's got it figured out. He's running it back with Mike McCarthy, and he's running it back with Dak Prescott. And then whatever happens after that. What do the Bears do? It certainly feels like they're shopping Justin Fields. And I heard not necessarily asking price. what they're going to get is a second and a seventh. And that feels cheap. If I am the Steelers, if I am the Raiders, if I am the Falcons, if I am like the Steelers, the Raiders, the Falcons probably aren't getting one of those top three, right?
No.
All right. I know people tell me, I don't know if he fits in Vegas. I think he does really well. Atlanta, all they need is a quarterback. I've heard that a zillion times. Didn't the Broncos tell me that when they got Russell Wilson? They're just a quarterback away. There's places that for a second and a seventh that I'm going to take a shot on that young man. Now, you got to make a decision when you're in on this fifth-year option, right?
Yeah, which to me, it's an easy decision.
Well, it'll...
When we're talking about handing quarterbacks $45 to $50 million, and you say, we'll pay this guy 24, 25 on his fifth-year option.
Yeah. All right.
And you get him for 2 years.
I want to get into this conversation. Maybe we do it when we get back. And this is going to be kind of up your guys' alley a bit. I think we all believe the Broncos are parting ways with Russell Wilson, right? How does that come back and work? The way that went down, he got back. I understand the finance part of it, and I see you're really not, you're queasy about it back there. But if I'm, and pick it, the place I just told you, right? If I'm Pittsburgh, Vegas, Atlanta, mull this during the break, and let's talk about it when we come back. Do I want Russell Wilson? To me, it's easy. Do I want Justin Fields, or do I kick the tires on Kyler Murray and see if that's available too? 505-246-0610. It's the opening drive. Jeff Sabieta, JJ Buck, and DC on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal, your home for Super Bowl 58.
This report is brought to you by Ski Santa Fe.
Ready to hit the slopes? Ski Santa Fe's lesson packages are now available. Whether you're just starting out or looking to master your technique, they offer a wide range of
We would
lesson
like to
packages.
thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready.
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, rip, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of Pro V Sports.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Cross-Camara here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.com.
You right back there? Never mind, afternoon delight. It's morning off to get started. Hey, text says I would like the Steelers to get Justin Fields. I think he's got a lot of potential, and we need a mobile quarterback, says Eric. I think Justin Fields would be great there. So, you're those teams. Who would you rather have? I mean, to me, it's easy: Justin Fields or Russell Wilson. But I know some of you feel totally different on Russell Wilson. Some people feel he had a much better season than people think. He was good, put him in a good situation, and he's great. To me, it's a no-brainer. I don't know where you guys are.
Justin Fields, absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with JJ. If I'm the Steelers, I'm going Justin Fields.
All right. The only upside on the Russell Wilson thing is you just pay the veterans minimum. Assuming they cut him, you pay the veterans minimum, and the Broncos have to pick up the tab. But that's not enough for me. Here's the other piece. Are you guys convinced the Cardinals are married to Kyler Murray? And would you rather have Kyler Murray or Justin Fields?
Kyler Murray.
I think I might too.
That's one that,
and they've paid the upfront money. Yeah. The Cardinals already have, so they've already taken the hit. There's a contract there, but don't get fooled by the average number, because the Cardinals have paid all that bonus money up front. And so if they're trying to move on and they think they can move up and they can get assets, now I don't think they get into the top 3. And so they probably don't get what they want. So what's their alternative? And that's why they might not be willing to move on from Kyler Murray. But do you start sniffing around there too? Because I think I would rather have Kyler Murray. Now there's he doesn't study. They had to put in a clause that he's got to study and learn the playbook. I think I've seen more proof on Kyler Murray than I have Justin Fields. But I don't think it's an easy answer.
I also think this is hilarious how many teams want to get rid of good quarterbacks and think
like the Cardinals,
the rookie option's automatically going to be better just because it's a cheaper contract.
Totally.
And this is what's frustrating about it. So we're talking Dak Prescott, Justin Fields, Kyler Murray. For what? Like, at some point in time, you have to try to build something. Yeah. And Kyler Murray, it feels underwhelming, but he also is coming off a knee injury. And he had a redshirt season this year in Arizona, where it feels like they at least have competent coaching. They're comfortable with the staff moving forward, have an opportunity to either get him a massive piece on the offensive line, or looks like Marvin Harrison Jr., the top receiver in the draft, which is perfect for your quarterback.
What are they for?
The Chicago Bears thing is entirely different, because it's the second year in a row you have a chance to take what then could be the next top quarterback. And that franchise Justin Field is tantalizing, but I think that's a fair conversation of 4 to 5 years of Caleb Williams are 2 of Justin Fields, then his payday.
So, a couple of things. I don't put Dak in that same bucket. A, because I don't think he's moving. I just don't. And B, I've had, 7 years of sample size? I know what I've got there. If you tell me I want to move on from a good quarterback, I can listen to you there, but I've got to, what am I moving on to? Right? I can't move on to the unknown. Right? So, but I think Dak's a different conversation. The Bears are the most intriguing to me because of where they sit in draft position, because where they sit with draft capital, because of what they got last year by trading the number 1 and how it completely worked out for them last year. And you got a guy that you've had for 3 years now in Justin Fields? How are they always picking first, by the way? How are they always at the top of the draft? Well, I know how. So that one I understand. The Kyler Murray thing in Arizona fits the parameters of what you said to me on the surface. I got a good quarterback, a good young quarterback. What am I doing? Why am I moving on? What do I think I'm going to get better? I've never felt that there was a synergy between him and that franchise. I've never felt that they've been lock stock there. I've always felt that it was a toleration, better than a what's between toleration and admiration? I mean, is there something in there? It's not that they tolerate him, but they don't love him.
He's there, so type
right?
deal.
Yeah, an acceptance, right? I think on both sides. He's, this is where I am, and this is who we got. Gosh, he's good. He got us to the playoffs once. I've just never felt that there was this absolute love and commitment, and yeah, dude, that's the guy.
Well, maybe that's when we look at some of these franchises. Try to, because the outside narrative is always on to the next quarterback. Oh, Bo Nix, Michael Penix, like that's the real conversation for a lot of these teams. You're not getting in the top 3 unless you want to trade the next 2 years worth of draft picks. And these teams that have good quarterbacks, like that we're talking about,
like them, yeah.
Like, is that worth it?
Look,
it's not.
The only place to me, well, there's maybe 3 that would be worth trading up and paying that price to get into the top 3. Would be the Raiders, would be the Steelers, it would be the Falcons, and maybe the Broncos. I mean, where the Broncos? Who's the Broncos quarterback going to be next year? Opening day, is it Jarrett Stidham? Like, honestly,
there is a possibility it could be Jarrett.
There is. I mean, I would argue with you right now, as I look through this, the most uncertain I am, and there's many places I'm uncertain about quarterback. They might be number 1 on my list of I am really uncertain about who's going to be their quarterback. The Bears are either going to be Justin Fields or Caleb Williams. I know that. Now, I'm not sure which one. Am I convinced Arizona's going to be Kyler Murray? Not really, but kind of. I don't know who the Steelers quarterback is. I don't know who the Raiders quarterback is.
Steelers quarterback is Kenny Pickett.
Are you sure?
Yes.
So you don't think they go out and make a move and go Justin Fields or try to get somebody? You think they're sold on Kenny Pickett? Because I flat out don't. They benched him, dude. Mason Rudolph started in the playoffs. Okay.
Kenny Pickett's going to be on their roster. What are they doing? They're not cutting a quarterback in a rookie contract.
Okay, he might be on their roster.
Mason Rudolph's a free agent.
You think he's their guy?
Yeah.
Okay. You might be right. And I'm happy to sit here in August and be flat out wrong.
That is one situation where you're not feeling as good as the other ones. I understand that.
Okay. I'm going to disagree with you. I'm not as sold. But okay. So take them off the list. Washington, who's their quarterback? Atlanta, who's their quarterback? Denver, who's their quarterback? Raiders, who's their quarterback? To me, the Denver thing is the most of all of them. I guess Washington. Where are they going to go back to Sam Howell? Washington's going to draft a quarterback. You can tell me it's going to be one of those 3. Atlanta's good, but I mean Denver. You guys are in the most, to me, obtruse situation because I just don't know how Russell Wilson goes back into that situation. The coach doesn't like him. He doesn't like the coach. The city doesn't like him. He's just that guy. I mean, I just don't. But yet you're strung by this contract. I don't know how he goes back there.
He goes back because he's getting paid.
Well,
he likes
right. No, look, I understand. Yeah, by the word, I know how he goes back, right? I'm under contract, pay me. But, I mean, how does that work? How do they take him back? How does that work then? You think he's the starting quarterback next year?
No. Here's the thing. Stidham was supposed to have a 10-game trial last year. They got into this whole thing with Russell Wilson. He started winning, and then he only got a 2-game trial.
All right.
So Stidham will start next year.
You think Jared Stidham's your starting quarterback?
That's who Sean Payton wants.
How do you feel about that?
He came in knowing he wanted that guy, so I guess I don't love it. It wouldn't be my guy, but I do see that that's who he wanted to try out, and he's going to stick with him. So Sean Payton knows better than I do, so I'll listen to him on this.
All right. You good with that?
I still think it's crazy that you house Sean Payton and then you fluff everyone up. That, hey, Russell Wilson, this is going to work. And they actually found a way to win games, and yet the entire conversation is, man, we wish we could have played Jared Stidham. What is your plan? That's not a plan.
I can't agree with you more.
Oh, Russell Wilson won games, and we feel bad now we didn't get to play Jared Stidham for 10 games?
Russell Wilson wasn't the plan.
Then he shouldn't have played at all then, if he wasn't the plan.
Ownership and management wanted him to play.
Then why did you hire a guy who didn't want him to play?
Because you wanted everything.
And you got
none of that makes sense.
Not every decision makes sense. When they hired Sean Payton, it was the hottest name out there. They had the money, they bought him. They wanted to make their plan work and his plan work. It didn't work. But that is what the plan was. Sean Payton wanted Jared Stidham to start a game in week 7 moving forward. He wanted a 10-game sample, kind of like Brock Purdy. Didn't get it. Now here we are.
So now you burn another year on a 10-game sample with Jared Stidham?
That appears to be the plan.
That's got to make you puke.
It's not a good feeling.
And I understand that was the plan. I don't know how anyone can look at that and be like, this makes sense. We're going to pretend we're going to try to fix Russell Wilson. Then he's going to accidentally win games. And then we're going to act like it was the exact opposite of what we wanted to happen.
That's what happens when you have $60 billion. You think you can make sense of something that you can't make sense of.
So that you can just throw money at it and keep throwing money at it, it's going to fix it.
They tried that.
And also use a first-round pick in there to get Sean Payton.
Oh, tried that too.
You know, he's also, you sold on Sean Payton?
That's a
first
really
round
good
pick.
question.
Which first round pick did they give up for Sean Payton?
That's the one they got for Bradley Chubb.
Yeah. Like the one at the end of the first round.
Wow.
Miami sent him.
You guys sold on Sean Payton?
Fine.
Man, for that much money and that much draft picks, he should be better than fine. Don't you think? I mean, he should be damn good, shouldn't he?
And this is what I thought with what they had to work with and how everyone thinks Russell Wilson is just terrible now. The fact that they competed and won games, I thought that should have been more of a positive than it ended up being. As then it came out, we're benching Russell Wilson that season. We actually wanted Jared Stidham to play all these games instead of going, hey, look what I did. It just feels like none of this is actually what we wanted to happen. We wanted to lose games and then play Jared Stidham for 10 games.
That's beautiful. I mean, oh, damn, we won. Oh, damn, we won. All right, 505-246-0610. Bronco fan, who on earth is your quarterback? Jared Stidham's your guy. Yeah, buddy. Bronco country, let's ride. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal.
This report is sponsored by Lowe.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, I'm Steve Stunker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, rip, plastered, paint, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight. Boom. Boom.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Yeah, buddy. Little girl joined the powerlifting team and competed in her first
awesome.
powerlifting meet yesterday. Meet? Tournament? Event? What is it? Competition?
Competition?
Yeah. She killed it, dude.
I'm getting the feeling that she is aware of Junk Miles because she seems to be like an everything athlete.
You know what's crazy? This is one of the great testaments of athletics. I don't know if I've ever told you guys the story. In Addie, back in the day, we basically was told she was an athlete. They put her in the low PE group. She says, "Dad, I'm a horrible athlete." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And they when she first went to the school, they test you on like throwing a baseball and running a mile and long jump and something. And so they put her in the bottom PE group and kind of, it was almost a shaming thing, And I said, "Babe, none of those kids can hit a golf ball like you. That doesn't matter. None of them could score 3 goals in lacrosse like you did last week. It doesn't matter, Dad." And she was bummed. So she took a plyometrics class that summer. and her goal was to not be in the bottom PE group. And I remember the next year when I picked her up at school, and how was school, and she said, we had testing for PE today. And I said, all right, how'd it go? She's like, well, I'm not in the bottom group. And I'm like, sweet. She's like, I'm in the A group, like in the top. Like, she rose, and all of a sudden she saw how hard work paid off. Like when she played lacrosse when she was in 8th grade, and she tried to play with the seniors, and after golf and cross country, she went, Dad, I can't play with the high school girls. I said, yeah, you can. I said, but you can't just come out once a year and pick up a stick and like they've been playing all year. You just got done playing golf and running cross country. I said, when you get out in the spring and play every day, you'll be fine. I said, but you better figure it out because you're not quitting. And she looked at me. So she went out and, as an 8th grader, beat out a senior and was starting on a really good lacrosse team. And she just started to see how the hard work paid off. And that's what she's done with the cross country. And now with this powerlifting thing, it's crazy, man. You know why she did this? Because at track, JJ, you'll love this. So track last year, the coach came to the distance girls and said, hey, nobody's throwing the shot put. Anybody want to throw the shot? And the girls all know. And Addie said, well, what do you got to do? Like, I'll sure. So she went out and she said, Dad, they gave me a quick lesson and I threw it 15. I'm like, 15 what? She's like, I don't know. Do they measure in meters? And I don't even know. And so she told her cross country coach the next day, and he kind of laughed at her. He says, the shot weighs more than you do, right? She's 106 pounds. And she's like, really, dude? Like, bleep that. And she just went and joined the powerlifting team right then and there. And he was out there yesterday and he saw her and yeah, it was really kind of cool how athletics and people who listen to this, right? You get sports, right? But you guys with young kids, when you watch them grow and she could have quit. There's so many stereotypical but yet not stereotypical stories about how she just stayed with it and worked, and you just watched her get better. Just watched her, and when she sees it, and then she, you see her looking in her mirror, and she's like, Dad, I'm getting yoked. I'm like, yeah, dude, you are getting yoked. And yeah, she puts in junk miles. Like all summer when she's running out the back door at 6 a.m., putting in 5-6 miles up and down those hills. It's awesome, dude. But that was my first powerlifting meet.
Does the name David Eckstein ring a bell with you guys?
Infielder, small dude, played for the Angels for a while.
Angels, and then he got MVP in the World Series with Cardinals.
That's right, yeah.
He has a very similar story. He was never the biggest, never the strongest, never the fastest, always told he couldn't do it, but he worked harder than everyone. He got a Corvette for MVP of the World Series, man.
That's beautiful.
It's a beautiful story. It just shows you work hard, you can do it. Sport is not all about being the tallest or strongest or fastest, having the best genes. If you work hard enough, you can get there. And I love that. I'm so good for you, Addie.
I think it really helped her in everything else, right? I mean, it's helped in her habits. And this is where I think so many athletes will tell you that the discipline that they learn from sports and being an only child, I needed her to, I didn't need her. I wanted her to be on a team sport, right? To learn the responsibility, the discipline, all that stuff that goes through it. And you think cross country, powerlifting, probably not team sports, but the lacrosse thing really has. But more than anything, it literally was the change in the mindset where I can't do this, and I'm like, yeah, actually you can. And watching her work her butt off, and when it clicked, dude, I belong. She said when she walked into that weight room the first time, she told me last night, because I said, I'm so proud of you. Like, what you do. She's like, Dad, the first time I walked in, I was so scared. Like, I didn't belong there. I didn't know what to do. I didn't belong in that weight room. And now I watch her, and I was showing her some of the video from last night. She's like, damn, I look like a cocky SOB. I'm like, yeah, you kind of do. And I love it. Right? Because you knew you were going to throw that weight around. She PR'd in 2 disciplines. Just a little bit of, and thanks for indulging me in a little bit of a personal story, but I think the lesson that you guys probably all, parents out there, I'm sure, have these stories. And that's why we put our kids in athletics, right?
Absolutely.
So it was kind of cool. All right. Sorry about that. That's not where I was intending to go with that.
No, and she is right. The gym is a scary place. I actually wandered there yesterday for the first time in like 6 months, and I look around.
Were you scared?
Yeah. I mean, between us, maybe a little.
Yeah. I mean, how do I do here?
Yeah, no, exactly. I'm looking around like all these people come here every day. What am I doing here? But I love that story. Indulge away, because That's awesome. That's badass. I love it.
Yeah, she's kind of a badass. It was pretty cool. All right, Lobos get beat last night in the pit, 86-78. I know Lobo fan, you slept in a little bit. You're waking up about now. So let's go. How do you feel about it? What do you go? You got the hater music? Because I like this when we're talking about quarterbacks. I like when it starts like this. There again is Jeff's expression of, quote, loads of money spent raises expectations of the paid to excellence, end quote. Herein is Peyton as coach, previously highly paid quarterbacks. I don't even understand what that means. I honestly have no idea what that means. Do you know what that means?
Where art thou? I don't know.
So don't you agree when someone pays you a lot of money, they expect a lot more from you?
Part of the sports debate is certain contracts put you in different levels of performance expectation.
Right? That's what you get paid for, right?
Yes.
There again is Jeff's expression of loads of money spent raises expectations of the paid to excellence.
Because you don't pay your long snapper the same amount of money as you do your starting center.
So you don't expect excellence out of him? I don't even know.
You don't pay your backup tackle the same as your starting tackle because you're expecting kind of different levels of their ability.
Yeah. All right. Whatever that means. I'll read them. I'm not afraid of them. I mean, hit me all you want. I just have no idea what the hell it means. Do you? All right. When we get back, Jerry Palm's going to be with us at 8:30. CBS Sports, Jerry Palm. Looking forward to having that conversation with him. And when we get back, we'll get into Lobos and Boise State last night, what it means. And I want to look back at what January was. JJ put an expectation they needed to do X. They did X minus Y equals, we'll get into that next. It's the opening drive and smooth jazz on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma. My brother. My tutor. My dad and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and
driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
5. If you're on fire, as they told me on how many does every announcer who comes in the pit now, by the way, on TV, this is my first time here. This is my first. How many guys, honestly, with these two networks have I heard this year? This is my first time in the pit. Oh, it was loud.
I will say for Fox Sports, the last couple of years they were not sending.
I know
people to games.
They were doing remotes,
so that's a step in the right direction.
All right, fair enough. But they got he's on fire. If rice is on fire, is he fried rice? I mean, is that what it is? Minute rice. What is it?
Minute rice is a good one. Heat up quickly.
Yeah, he hit it.
It was just insane.
He went for career high 35. He'd been slumping. He went for 30 against the Lobos.
Sometimes you say things and you're like, no, I don't want to get caught saying that. That dude literally just throws it up. Like his motion is like.
Well, there were a few of them. Certainly. There were a few of them, certainly. Yeah.
And it's buckets. Yeah. It's just like, how is this happening?
Yeah. The text line says a lot of things. This one says, I'm not discouraged at all, as Max Rice was unconscious, and that won't happen every week. Jalen was cold, and that won't happen every week. JT is still bringing it, but you could see him rush his shot a bit. Recoup. Thank you for that. That comes in at 505-246-0610. You can send texts there. That is the Sports Animal phone line as well. This one says, everyone's a Lobo. Arf, arf, arf. I'm going to guess that person's not a Lobo. And this person is the person that I know.
Is that Bingo and Rolly? What's going on?
And this one, the one who sent the loads of money, I said, what does it mean? He says, since when is the high pay the method of likely success in the NFL? I don't know. That's the expectation. Why do you pay a guy you expect him to perform at a high level, don't you? That's why you give him all that money, right? What don't I understand?
I'm a little bit lost. You can underperform when you make a lot of money, but the expectation is when you sign player X to big contract that is going to be one of your best players.
Seems that way. All right, JC, you want to talk about the Lobos at 505-246-0610. Good morning, JC. You're on these sports.
Morning.
What's up?
Yeah, man, tough game yesterday. I looked at that one on the schedule and was like, that's the trap game. That's going to be tough. I just think the length that Boise played with, they neutralized our bigs, so that, the difference was going to be the guards. And Max Rice, I was getting kind of like Dimmer vibes without a little like the flair. It's like someone comes into the pit and just goes off like that. It's like, hats off to him, man.
Yeah. I mean, what else are you going to do? And I don't. Yeah, thanks, JC. Appreciate it. JC, I don't know that I think the defense was horrible. I think he hit a lot of challenge shots where he threw the ball up, and it's like, damn, dude, all right, tip your hat.
Yeah, this is a game that it is frustrating because you have high expectations, and now you have a lot of ground to make up, and you have to do it on the road. And so does this destroy anything? No, it's a little bit bigger speed bump for the Lobos than it is other teams that are chasing right now in the Mountain West race, because you look and it's getting a little dicey for the Mountain West Conference. That's why I'm looking forward to talking with Jerry Palm, because I don't know. Honestly, I knew these were going to be really good games, but you look in Colorado State, Nevada, 4 losses already. Mm-hmm. Like, are we at the point where they're already playing too many teams out of the NCAA tournament, even though the net rankings are good, and you want to have this back and forth? But
see, in the SEC, this happens all the time, and you say, yeah, well, whatever. They're all
are they still in a good enough position where they can get 3 to 4 teams in? And there's so many moving parts, so we know you can't just say, hey, this happened here, because there's 100 other results that factor in to the NCAA tournament conversation. If I'm looking at the Lobos, I'm giving them an A for January still. I had them 7-2. They go 6-3. That streak where you win 5 games in a row by 20-plus points. You're scoring 91 points per game. You boat raced Utah State and San Diego State. Those are fantastic results.
No doubt.
And when we talk about how good we think this league is, then while last night's frustrating, it shouldn't be like an oh my gosh how'd that happen game. But we all got, I'm not saying we all, I got caught up in a little bit. I saw that 11.5 point number, and it was
too much.
It was too much. I didn't think it was. I was believing it, but now that's another moment for this team that had a UNLV game. They kind of had to reset. Now you got be pretty good at home, and now you have to take that energy on the road into a place that, man, they're beating people in there.
When I looked at that 11, I told you yesterday, it's too thick, and they play well. They always play well here. Boise State always does. Dan, you were at the game last night. How you living? You're on the Sports Animal. Good morning.
Hey, good fellas. Hey, I just want to tell you that, the Lobo basketball to me is a transplant. When they start winning, it's like when the lottery hits, $500 million, it gets interesting. Anyway, I went to the ball game last night, and the Lobos are growing. They're growing. And that's what I saw last night, a growing team. And I want to tell you why. They should have beaten Boise. But what Boise was doing, they were hitting threes left and right. And UNM tried to match them. And there was a point in the first half where they went like 6 or 7 trips down the floor. They couldn't score. And instead of attacking the basket, they started to match up with the threes. That didn't work for them last night, and that's why they lost the game. But I want to say this. This is a growing team. I like that the fans, I'd say that place was maybe more than 3/4 of the way full. And right now, I don't care what anyone says, the Lobos, they're the hottest ticket in town and the best ticket in town. So, folks, when they come into town, you got to support this team. What I did like yesterday, though, was after the game, I heard Patino say this. He said, all right, we lost. Now it's getting ready for Wyoming next week, and we got to get up there and start winning. So we put that behind them. That's a good coach. They're ready for the next thing. And again, I had them like when they were beating UNL, they were beating San Diego State. I'm like, all right, let me go check these guys out because they're doing it, but they're still in a growing phase, and that's what people have to learn. And they're growing in the right direction. I think these guys can make a stand and probably get in the NCAA. They're in the top 25. I don't know if they fell out after last night. But still, they're on the brink, ladies and gentlemen. Stick with them. I think this team is going to go all the way, and not all the way, but they'll get in the playoffs. But the thing with Patino, this is his second or third year. This guy's got them playing. He's got the kids playing. He's got people coming into the stadium. And again, going to the pit last night on a Tuesday night kind of reminded me of going to the Garden to go see the Knicks and the Boston Celtics. It was really good last night. Thanks, fellas.
Great call, Dan. Great call. And I've always liked Richard's demeanor. Win or lose, I like where he is. I don't think he gets too high or too low, and I think demeanor's good. And it's a really good perspective from him. Not a guy like so many of you who've been going to games for 30 years or whatever. And I think he's dead on. JD, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, JD.
Hey, how's it going? Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, hats off to Rice, man. That guy, it was unbelievable. And like JD was saying, some of those shots, it's like, man, he's just like pushing the ball up there, like he's in 7th grade, just trying to make the rim, and it just goes in. And,
he had that air ball early, right? And the crowd got on him. He had that air ball early. He's like, all right, keep yelling at me.
Yeah. And I just wanted to say, it seemed like they kind of took the Lobos a little bit out of their pressing defense by having Degenhart bring the ball up a lot. And I think that might have kind of thrown the defense for a little bit of a loop. I don't know if they were expecting that or not, but it seemed like they weren't. But also, what about Dan? Man, that guy is just a beast.
Unbelievable.
He just carried the whole team on his back almost the whole game. It was amazing.
Got to the rim whenever he wanted to get to the rim. He was. I thought Donnie was great last night. Just terrific. All right, JD, appreciate you. Can I give you a key moment? I'm not going to tell you this swung the game. Into the first half, Lobos are down by 1. Boise State's got the ball. Shoot with about 7 seconds to go. Long rebound. And it looked like the Lobos were going to get a run out, and they get a long offensive rebound outside the arc. And instead of having a shot to go up by 1 at halftime, Boise State scores with 2 seconds to go. You're down by 3. Mm-hmm. I thought that was a huge momentum shift.
Well, that was the game last night. There were a lot of little moments like that where it was a 2-possession game. Lobos get it to 1 possession, and Boise State's able to make a play. And a lot of it, too, was the rebounding and then the scrambling for New Mexico. There was that stretch where Boise State had back-to-back dunks where the Lobos defense wasn't able to scramble. They left the backside open, then boom, pass right underneath. And, those were the things you saw the Lobos taking advantage of. And scrambling, getting the steals, getting the blocks, and Boise State's size slowed that down. And now that's a moment for New Mexico. And okay, we know when we play our best, we're going to look like this, but then how do we adjust to a team that takes that away, and then we have to play more half court?
Text line, seems like Boise State plays really well in the pit compared to other Mountain West teams. Credit to Leon for getting his team ready and having a good game plan last night. All right, 505-246-0610. What do you want to do? You got Red Zone ready? You want to do it next? Because Jerry Palm's coming up at 8:30. Not yet? All right, we'll do Red Zone at 9 o'clock. When we come back then, you'll hear a little bit of what Richard Pitino had to say after the game. Comments post-game from head coach Richard Pitino after the Lobos lose in the pit to Boise State, 86-78. That's next. It's the opening drive, and he'll talk about moving on. What did you see about the first loss? And how did Max Rice get so many opportunities? What Richard Pitino says about that. Next on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. but it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready.
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hey, look, it's Dwight Goodman.
Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight. Boom! Boom!
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
From Idaho and shot the lights out and beats New Mexico 86-78. No game this weekend for the Lobos. They will be in Laradice on Tuesday to take on a pretty good Cowboy team. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck. We'll back to your phone calls in a little bit, but I want you to hear a little bit of what Richard Pitino had to say. And JJ, I've always told you this. I think Richard is pretty, and I got to believe he's this way with his team in the locker room. His messaging is, he doesn't get too high, too low. I think he's pretty cerebral, pretty on point, and there's not a whole lot of emotion in what he says. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, that's what good coaches
I agree.
should do.
Totally agree. Yeah.
Like
totally.
there's going to be moments where you're going to be in your feels right after a game.
Everybody.
Especially if it's a hard loss, if it's a frustrating game. But Richard, for the most part, does a really good job of composing himself and sending that even keel message after a game.
All right, here's he was on the post-game show. This is courtesy of the UNM Sports Radio Network with Hunter Green and Robert Portnoy, and just responding on how it all went down last night.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Max Rice continues to really, really hurt us. We let him be comfortable, and he made some really, really tough shots. We weren't able to get steals because they had Degenhart bringing the ball up, which was obviously smart. And it negated House getting steals and then being able to get out on the break a little bit. So that was obviously good by them. We didn't do a very good job of rebounding the basketball, -8. They were getting the 50-50 balls. Stanley's really, really good. I like him a lot. Plays with amazing energy, amazing motor. They're a good team. Like, I give them a lot of credit. Jalen House obviously was really off tonight. I thought he had a lot of open looks from three that he's been hitting. So that was obviously challenging, but we just couldn't make the plays, and they made the plays.
All right. And I think that's it. Give them credit. And all that I think is right, and that's good. But he hit on Rice, and Rice was the story of the game. JJ, career high 35 for Max Rice. throwing him in from everywhere. He was really, really good. And so Robert and Hunter asked Coach Pitino last night how Max Rice got those looks and those opportunities.
I mean, he makes some really awkward shots, right? But he's always done that. And our guys got to do a better job of challenging him. I thought the size this game hurt us. You know, they were shooting over us. Agbo is really tall. I mean, he's a 6'7" type wing. We really liked him a lot. But Rice is also tall as well. So they made the big plays. We did not. Tip of the cap to them.
Yeah, and that's kind of what it is, right?
It is. And that's, you look at a couple of the things for the Lobos that they're going to continue to have to deal with. It's still being able to find their rhythm, play their game against teams that are long and athletic, because that's basketball. Who's not long and athletic for the most part, again, when you're going up against
especially now
the top teams in your league or where you want to go. And then they do have kind of a learning point now of, okay, we were not getting steals in transition. Then how do we get a little bit better in the half-court offense? And I think they were out of sorts when they just had to settle down and play one-on-one defense.
Lobos turned the ball over 7 times. Boise State 11 times, but there were only 4 steals by New Mexico. And that's something that they've been doing in the 5-game win streak. They've also been rebounding well. Last night got out-rebounded 41-33. You heard Richard Pitino allude to that a little bit. He goes a little bit more in depth here on the rebound
tonight. They're big and strong, so give them credit. I mean, they're like a old-school Big Ten type team. Dagenhart, although didn't score a lot, he's strong and physical. I love the kid, Stanley. I mean, I think he is quick twitch athlete. He's got a nose for the ball, does a lot of great things there. So overall, give them credit. Nagbo, too, just his length really bothered us rebounding the ball.
7 rebounds for Agbo. Omar Stanley had 14 rebounds. And I tend to kind of be with Richard on this. I'm not losing my mind on this. Sometimes you tip your hat and the other guys just beat you. I don't think the Lobos played incredibly poorly last night. They didn't make shots. House was off, didn't have a good shooting night. Mashburn was okay, and you were relying on Donovan Dent a lot. They just came in and beat you. I mean, sometimes maybe it's that simple.
Yeah, you got beat by a good basketball team. There's, it's okay to be frustrated and upset with the way you're rolling at home. It means you got to do a little bit more work on the road. The Lobos are a team that could still accomplish that. And that's why I was so hyper-focused on handling every single home game in January. Now they're going to get good road opportunities when you go to Reno, San Diego, back up to Boise State, try to get the split, and then ending the season Utah State. So there's still big-time games to climb that ladder back up there. But this is a team, because they're non-conference schedule, they didn't fall on their face, but they didn't have that wow moment, that margin's just a little slimmer.
That's right. That's all. Edward, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, Edward.
Hey, good morning. I think it was yesterday, either the callers or JJ elaborated on, in one of their games, the team went to a 1-3-1 zone.
Yeah.
And in former years, they would struggle, I guess, under the previous regime, or when Alfred coached the team. Last night I made a note of it. I haven't watched all the games, but they're a very entertaining game. And when whenever you have a player that can create off the dribble, like I think it's Dent, it's amazing. The guy gets to the basket at will. Anyway, about the 6-minute mark in the second half, they went to the opponents went to a 1-3-1 zone, and they struggled on 5 or 6 possessions, and they stretched a 2 or 3 point lead to like an 8-point lead, and the game essentially ended. It's not an indictment. I think, to be able to, you have to make adjustments real time. They had a bad night shooting, at least a couple of players did, but I think JJ just alluded to it. I think if you ask the most exuberant Lobo fans, their goal is to get the best seed possible for the NCAA tournament, and their margin is shrinking when you lose games like this, meaning you move off that 4, 5, 6 line into that dreaded 8, 9 line, like we talked about yesterday, meaning seeding in the NCAA tournament. So I think they could still win some road games and position themselves well, and probably either finish second or third in their conference. And then you see how the cards lay, right? But every time you take a loss like this, it just sets you back a little further in terms of what your ultimate goal is to advance as far as you can in the NCAA tournament. And the seeding obviously is a big part of that. Quickly on the Ravens, I'm still recovering from their egregious game plan this weekend. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was so bad. And I know the moment is big for players. I know the moment is big for coaches. You would think that Harbaugh would have had it more prepared. 5 personal foul penalties, just completely out of sync offensively. And when Belichick and Jimmy Johnson used that term, most games are lost and not won, that was the epitome of that game, because that game was lost. And it was just so bad. And when you have to win when you get those opportunities, and they may not get it for another few years. So it was just really a bad Sunday for that whole organization. Anyway, have a great day, guys.
See, I don't know if I feel that game, it was, right? I mean, Zay Flowers fumbling and going in, the penalty that he took. I mean, yeah, you can look at everything. I told you on Monday, I think, the teams that lost certainly felt like they outplayed the teams that won and are pointing at mistakes, right? Certainly the Lions were. And I would tell you the Ravens were too. They felt that they probably outplayed the teams that won. And if it wasn't for this and this, we'd be in the Super Bowl. And that, it goes down to, we feel like we lost, they didn't win.
Yeah, especially in a one-possession game. And you almost overcame the taunting penalty after the Zay Flowers big catch. It was back to Zay Flowers there at the goal line, had the ball punched out. And to me, it was a game plan that didn't make a lot of sense. The amount of times that Baltimore is trying to go downfield for the big play instead of taking what's there. And that's a sign of a good coach and quarterback. You don't always have to go out there and have the 400-yard game with 3 touchdown passes. It's, hey, let's not make mistakes. Let's not get sacked. Let's move the football. And that's exactly what KC did. They came out, blitzed Baltimore early in that game. Yep. Baltimore adjusted, and the KC was like, well, we're just going to hold on now.
All right, good talk. A lot of college hoops when we come back. CBS Sports' Jerry Palm is their bracketologist, amongst other things. And we'll talk to him about the very top of the bracket, the Mountain West part of the bracket, and what a loss like last night. I don't know that it kills you as much as Edward thinks it does, but the Lobos were on the 10th seed in his bracket, playing St. John's, by the way. We'll talk to him about what that means in a vacuum and overall. Jerry Palm, CBS Sports, next on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal, your home for Super Bowl 58.
Slowdowns east on I-40 coming from around 98th Street due to a crash.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Try this shit better than all my intentions. Locked in shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the minutes. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated,
ripped,
plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Burglary takes place in the United States approximately every 15 seconds. International Protective Service is your answer for commercial and residential security in all of Albuquerque. IPS will work with your monitoring company for fast, reliable response times. You can rest easy knowing you, your family, or your company is watched over by International Protective Service. Call International Protective Service today.
Animal. Yeah, a little grumpy Lobo fan, and I get it. Late night in the pit last night. 5-game win streak snapped by Boise State. 86-78. The Broncos came in and ended January. It was almost February by the time it ended, but ended January 6-3. No, it was 6-3 for the Lobos. On the East Coast, it was. And so now it's off to Laramie next week. Get back to your phone call in a little bit. It's the opening drive, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck. So what does it mean in the big picture? And what is the big picture looking like as we now turn to February? Jerry Palm is amongst other things, bracketologist and one of the best writers over at CBS. And he joins us this morning on the Sports Animal. Good morning, Jerry. How you living?
I'm all right, but I was up past midnight on the Lake Michigan coast watching that game.
Yeah, I would think. I mean, it was an interesting one last night. Boy, Max Rice was on one last night, wasn't he?
No, I thought Boise played well. I didn't really think New Mexico played all that poorly. I just thought that Boise had a really good game, and that happens sometimes. But you have to be concerned if you're New Mexico because you might have a gaudy net ranking, but you're a home court hero, big time. And now you got a home court loss. And 3 out of 4 on the road coming up. And no easy road games left. I mean, the Wyoming one will be the easiest, the only non-tournament team you got left. But, trips to Wyoming are easy. So, New Mexico is going to have to find a way to show they can win off the pit. And then, you got to win those games at home, too. If you're going to be a home court hero, you better actually be a home court hero.
I think that's one of the biggest things, and your perspective is something maybe Lobo fan doesn't want to hear, but probably needs to. You have them at a 10 seed, by the way, playing St. John's, which would be precious, right? Richard versus Rick Pitino.
I didn't think about it when I put them together, and it wasn't until I was doing like a final check of the bracket before I published that I thought, Tito's. Well, that would be fun.
Yeah, it would be prize, and the networks would love that. But your point,
I'm sure they would.
Your point is, and JJ's been making this point. The Lobos had the big home games in January at home: San Diego State, Utah State, Boise State, Nevada. The next month, and they end in Logan. They've got to go to San Diego and Reno in the same week. They've got to go to Laramie. The only one they get at home is Colorado State, and that's why I don't think last night's loss cripples them, but it is relatively significant, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's a tough one because, that's the finishing schedule. It's 5 road games, Wyoming, and 4 of the other 5 contenders in the Mountain West, and that's tough living. The home games you're playing, I think. Is there one left with a contender? You said Colorado State.
Yeah, they got Colorado State at home. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, all the other games can only hurt you, but even now Colorado State can hurt you because it's a home game, and you're a home court hero. So you got to win the home games, But ultimately, if they just win their home games and lose their road games and lose in the first round of the conference tournament because it's not at home, you're probably not top 20 in the net anymore. But you have a nervous selection Sunday.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it. You got to find a way to show you can beat tournament quality opposition off your home floor. You have road games and conference to do it. You have the conference tournament to do it. If they haven't got a win over one of the other 5 contenders off their home floor, Selection Sunday is going to be really nervy.
He's Jerry Palm from CBS Sports. And JJ and I have talked about this, and JJ started to jump on you here. I just wanted to stay on this theme. This league may cannibalize itself. And I've watched the Pac-12 do that over years. I guess every league does that, right?
Yeah, the deep leagues,
yeah.
You get to the point where you get to those bottom 3 or 4 teams, and somebody's going to suffer for the schedule and not make it. So you see like 10 Big 12 teams in the bracket, and that's just, that's now. A month from now, after they beat each other up, it might be 8. At some point, I mean, obviously you have to fill the bracket, but, these leagues in the Mountain West is in the same boat. These teams that are contenders, so one of those teams, maybe 2, are going to suffer for the schedule and not make it.
Jerry Palm, CBS Sports, with us here on The Sports Animal. And we did see over the weekend, when you look at what Utah State was able to do, they went and got a road win at Boise State. Colorado State continuing to win, San Diego State there. How do you feel about the teams that you have in terms on the 5, 6, and 7 lines right now from the Mountain West?
Yeah, I think it would be shocking if somehow the Mountain West ended up with fewer than 4 teams, right? I mean, you can feel like 4 are pretty comfortable, barring some sort of collapse, but a collapse from one of those 4 teams would probably benefit one of the other 2. So it's hard to imagine a realistic scenario where there aren't at least 4 Mountain West teams in the final bracket, and then we'll see if 5 or 6 can happen. My guess is 5. I think it'll be 5.
Hey, Jerry, I want to talk to you about the very top for a second. And you look at in your last bracket, I know it was updated on the 29th, but UConn, Purdue, Houston were the 1 seeds. How many teams do you think have a realistic shot at being a top overall seed this year?
The top overall seed?
Or, I mean, a 1 seed overall.
If you're talking about number 1 overall,
yeah.
If you're just talking about the top line, I'd say like 7 or 8. If you're talking about number 1 overall, maybe 3. Purdue, Connecticut, Houston seem to stand out in the race for. I mean, obviously a lot can happen in a month and a half, but those 3 look like they're in that race for the long haul for the overall number 1.
Purdue,
and Houston has kind of an advantage at that because they play in a better conference than the other 2.
Purdue
and have more quad 1-win opportunities.
So you stayed up late because you were so anxious after watching Purdue have to go to overtime last night?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's been a heart attack. What's funny is that, I mean, everybody's making a lot of the free throw disparity. Well, I mean, what was it, 48 to 8 or 46 to 8, 42 to 8, something like
insane.
That. 40-something to 8 free throws. But you got to understand, well, first of all, they shot 4 at the end of the game because of the double text. But, even if you say it's, 40, Purdue plays through the post with a massive human being in the post who gets fouled all the time, shoots a ton of free throws because that's all you can do. And they only call about 2/3 of the fouls on him because he can play through most of them. So, the way Purdue runs their offense, they're going to draw a lot of fouls. Northwestern is a very perimeter-oriented team. They have no inside game at all. So they might drive to the hoop, but they don't run through the post at all. So you don't get fouled a lot on the three-point line. And when you play your offense on the three-point line, you don't get fouled a lot. That's just how it is. So, I'm not going to say that game was well officiated because it wasn't. It just wasn't. But it's Big Ten, so it really rarely is anymore.
Well,
but
it's a hard game to officiate. It just is.
Well, Zach Edey is a hard guy to officiate because he's getting fouled all the time.
This is the Shaq syndrome.
Which ones are you going to call?
Yeah. No, it's like when Shaq was there. He's Jerry Palm from CBS Sports. I know there's a month plus left in the regular season. We just hit February. National Coach of the Year. I look at there's a bunch to look at. Danny Sprinkle at Utah State. They turned the entire roster over. The guy on Fox last night, I don't even remember who the commentator was, says, I did their games in the Bahamas or wherever. He says, I didn't know any of the players. And what they're doing, you got him as a 5 seed. That came out of freaking nowhere. Is he even up for that? I mean, who's your, like, when you think of Coach of the Year kind of stuff?
I got to be honest with you. I haven't thought that much about it, Coach of the Year.
Okay, fair enough.
But, yeah, I mean, you would have to be a guy on that list. I'm sure you would have to be a guy on that list. I like Greg Gard at Wisconsin.
Yeah. What, 6th in the country right now, I think?
Yeah.
In the polls.
And it's not like people expected them to be bad, but they're having a really good year. Purdue's there this Sunday, by the way. That's a big game for both those teams, and especially for the conference race. Gosh, I got to be honest with you. I haven't thought about it much.
Oh, fair enough.
But, he'd certainly be, I would imagine, especially if they win the league. If they had come out and they win the league, he's going to get some attention in that regard, for sure.
I wonder if he's out of there after 1 year. They keep turning coaches over in Logan like crazy, too. And everybody goes up there and succeeds. It's kind of crazy. I don't know if you've ever been there. JJ,
I have not. No, it's on my list. I've watched it on TV. I got to make just a Mountain West road trip and catch, go there and go to the pit.
You love it. Well, Logan's the toughest place to get to.
There's some good environments in the Mountain West. Yes. Boise's another good one.
Yes.
But Utah State and New Mexico are on my list of places I need to get to.
JJ, you agree Logan's tougher to get to than Laramie? I think it's the toughest spot in this league to get to. But
it depends too, because usually when you fly into Salt Lake City, you're driving through a mountain storm.
Yeah,
to get to Logan.
Yeah, but yet they keep getting players up there and they keep doing well. Just a few more minutes. Jerry Palm from CBS is with us.
Well, Jerry mentioned that Purdue-Wisconsin game on Sunday. Saturday, there's Houston, Kansas, Duke, North Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky. And I think Tennessee is a basketball team. I don't know if people realize how good they are.
Yeah.
Tennessee, it's funny. Purdue played them in Maui, and I don't remember that Connects guy being much of anything necessarily. I mean, not like he has been, but boy, has he come on strong. And he scored more than half their points last night. They're obviously going to, it's nice to have a guy you can count on to score, but you can't ever be just one guy. But yeah, he's really led them, to near the top of the bracket. That's a team that still has a chance, especially if they win the SEC regular season and tournament. It's a shot at a number 1 seed. So, Tennessee's been tremendous. It'll be, they're an interesting team. Last year they had a chance to make a run and then their point guard got hurt late in the season and they had to play without him and it just didn't work out. But that's another team kind of like Purdue for a different reason that feels like they have unfinished business in this year's tournament.
Yeah. All right. Enjoy the weekend. Always appreciate the conversation. I know you're reading them every day, watching the brackets, cbssports.com. On the X, it's at JP Palm, CBS. JJ, I'll talk to you next Thursday. Always appreciate the conversation, Jerry. Enjoy the weekend.
All right. Thanks.
Be well. Jerry Palm from CBS. When we come back, he said something really, really interesting in there about the Lobos. And I know you're kind of thinking it's a done deal. I think we all expect the same end result, but I want to get into it, what he said, and kind of dive a little deeper into what the Lobos need to do and what they need to, JJ, not do the rest of the way. We'll do that when we get back. Fellas, how you feeling? Less energetic than maybe you want to be? A little tired, fatigued? Maybe you can feel a whole lot better. I got an idea for you. Turn the page, and it's NuMale. NuMale Medical will help you get to where you want to be, will help you feel the way you want to feel. They specialize in men's health, and they have cutting-edge treatments for low testosterone and for fatigue and for hair loss and even erectile dysfunction. Their expert team is dedicated to helping you feel like you again. So imagine feeling energetic and confident and at your best, whether that's restoring your youthful vigor, tackling hair loss, reigniting the passion. NuMale's personalized treatments are designed just for you. So don't let another day go by feeling less than your best. You can join thousands of men who have transformed their lives with NuMale. It is confidential, it is comprehensive, and most importantly, it's about you and it works. So when you're ready to discover the new you, visit NuMaleMedical.com or call them at 505-652-1688. Schedule your private consultation today. That's 505-652-1688. NuMale Medical Center, where your new chapter begins. NuMale Medical Center. Feel young, feel energized, feel new.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Well, I'm going to the Frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, backed by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot. It's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman! Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet.
Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll...
And what it does, too, is it, especially if you want to talk about a regular season title. No doubt. We got 6-3. I give them an A- for January.
And it was an A until they lost last night, right?
Yeah, it would have been an A+ if they won last night. But I still give them credit for winning the games the way they did, blowing out good teams, being 6-3, being in the race. Yeah, it was a terrific January. But the reality is, when we have the at-large conversation, because that's where it starts. If you're a confident at-large team, then you feel good, and it's the whole house money, where you're not going to your conference center and going, man, we got to win this. Well, like, that's where you don't want to be. Like, yeah, you still have that opportunity. And for New Mexico, the key thing is they have those chances in front of them to get ones on the right.
All right, so here's what's up next. Wyoming up in Laramie next Tuesday. Then next weekend, UNLV comes in. And then the following week, they go to Reno and San Diego. So first things first, you need to get a bye in your conference tournament. Okay? It means you've got to finish the top 5. Currently, New Mexico's 3rd. But they're 6-3. San Diego State's right behind them at 5-3, with Wyoming at 5-3. And then Colorado State and UNLV, who both have wins over New Mexico, are at 4-4. And Nevada's still lurking down there at 3-4. So, I hear all the time, 3 days in Vegas. Dude, you don't need it to be 4 days in Vegas. Like, I mean, you might like Vegas a lot and you can go for 4 days, but you don't want to play 4 games. You have to play 4 games. You want to eliminate that first round bye. So, to Jerry's point, and this is how he phrased it. I don't even think I'm paraphrasing. If you're going to be a home court hero, you can't lose at home, is what he said, right? Now, not a horrible loss. Boise State was 56 net ranked. But you're going to have to go find a way to get an impressive road win. And if not one, you're going to have to get 2. Ben, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, Ben.
Hey, thank you for taking my call. Yeah, I heard you guys talking about the remaining schedule for the Lobos. And next week, next Tuesday, Wyoming's always been a very, very difficult place for us to play. That's a must win.
I think that's right.
Because the last game of the year with Utah State, depending on what's going on in the standings, you really, really never know. So we need to at least take 2 of them. And I'm wondering, does the selection committee put any bearing into the St. Mary's loss when Jalen House nor Jamal Mashburn played?
I don't believe they look into who played and who did not. No. And the St. Mary's loss is not as bad as maybe it was earlier. I'm trying to find there. Where's the West Coast? St. Mary's is a 22 net right now. So it's not a bad loss, but you don't get any points because your starting backcourt didn't play. No.
Okay, yeah, I was just wondering about that. So I'm pretty sure neither Jalen House nor Mashburn played in that game.
I want to say Mash played. I'll look into that, and House did. But Ben, appreciate the call.
Thank you.
Yeah, don't be a stranger. But yeah, you don't get any. It's where you played, how'd you lose, what was the score, right? In the metrics. Yes. All right, NFL Red Zone. We get back. Super Bowl's coming up in a little over a week. I don't know if you heard about that. We're gonna get into review of the playoffs. Pro Bowl starts. All kinds of good stuff. It's the opening drive. TC put this together. You're going to like this. On 95.9 FM at AM 610, the Sports Animal, home of Super Bowl 58.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in Burkia. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman! Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
drive safe, Dwight. Boom! Boom!
Seriously? You expect me to drive while you aren't wearing seatbelts?
What's the worst that can happen?
Seriously? Buckle up.
Okay.
Thank you.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number one in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
All the playoffs and all your NFL. And DC's put together kind of a pre-Super Bowl, another pre-Super Bowl edition of our Red Zone.
How much you want to make a bet I can throw a football over the mountains?
Are you crazy? I'm saying you're a football player.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to Tom Brady this game.
You're in the Red Zone with Jeff Symbieta and JJ Bach.
Let's go, baby!
It's first and goal.
So I don't know about you guys, but I've been hearing a lot of mixed reviews of the playoffs this year. So I really do want to know what you guys think. What were the best and worst games of the 24 playoffs? And actually, it's not on the sheet, but will you give a grade to the 24 playoffs? A through F. Just tell me what you think.
You know, people love to whine. This is what I found a long time ago. These weren't any good. Either you have recency bias and this was the best thing ever, or this was no good. I actually thought the playoffs were good. Yeah, well, there were some games that got away. I give it a B. I mean, do I think it was the best ever? I don't. But
what is even the best ever?
Yeah, I don't know.
How do you answer that?
Would you ask me what was the best game?
In your opinion,
Chiefs and Bills was really good. When the Chiefs went up to Buffalo and beat the Bills, and you dissect all the little pieces of that one. The 49ers Packers that same maybe it was a weekend. Yeah, it was the same weekend. That one was really good too. If you don't have a dog in the fight and we're just watching a football game and dropped off from Mars, the Chiefs and Bills to me was a sensational game. On the same day that the Lions Buccaneers was good and the 49ers Packers was good. I don't know, man. I hear all year, we don't get enough football. We need football. And then I hear, well, there's too much football. And I lose my mind a little bit over it. Every game isn't going to be great, but I thought we had a pretty good playoffs.
I give it a B. You know, you'd have to like sit there and spend an hour going back over all the playoffs to even remember what happened at half the time for us to act like we know what the best and worst playoffs are overall. Because I immediately counted 7 games that were really good. Packers Cowboys in the first round was a fascinating game.
Lions Rams, except for the results,
Lions Rams was a 1-point game. Packers 49ers, you mentioned that the championship games. Buccaneers Lions was entertaining. So this was a really good postseason. There's 7 games that were really entertaining. Depending on what side you're on, that's solid.
Second and goal.
Ready, down, put.
All right. Well, let's try this one. Super Bowl 58 is coming soon. What about the other 57? So I'm asking you guys, which Super Bowl was the best overall game, in your opinion, and why?
You got one? So I'll go.
Go for it.
So I'm going to give you two. The second best one ever was when Seattle beat New England in the Malcolm Butler, because it's the best play, I think, in the history of the Super Bowl. Best Super Bowl ever. None of us saw number 3 when Joe Namath said guaranteed victory over the Baltimore Colts and changed the landscape of professional football. And again, I didn't see the game, but I've seen the highlights, and so to me, maybe the most impactful of all. But the best one that I recall seeing was that Seattle New England game. Was the same.
January 25th, 1998, Qualcomm Stadium.
Ooh, look at you, a little recent or little hometown bias.
Denver Broncos 31, Green Bay Packers 24. Denver Broncos, the first of back-to-back Super Bowl championships. I was a 4th grader at that time in Denver, Colorado.
Was that the Elway helicopter?
It was awesome. And then fast forward, a week or so later, I didn't have to go to school because I got to go to a Super Bowl parade.
Yep.
And what?
And
let's go.
This one's for Pat.
What's your favorite Super Bowl?
3rd and goal.
In terms of entertainment, I thought the Cardinals Pittsburgh Steelers.
It was a really good one. That had the long return in it, the last second touchdown. That's a really good answer.
Yeah, Kurt Warner was crazy.
Yeah, that's a really good answer. Yeah. As far as like best Super Bowl, that's a really good answer.
All right, so the Pro Bowl starts this evening, and I know you both will be glued to your television. So which of tonight's events will end up being the most entertaining? And I've created a list for you of the events that will be played tonight.
Oh, I got 2. Precision passing and the kick-tack-toe. See, I like the odd things. I don't need to see professional football players playing flag football. I don't need that. No one needs to see that. We watch them play regular football. Why do we need to sit there and watch them play flag football? That makes zero sense to me. But give me the events. That's why I love Saturday night for an NBA All-Star. I don't need them to see them play a fake basketball game, but dunks, 3-point shooting, the passing competition, like the skills challenge stuff is what All-Star Weekend should be about. And I love seeing those old videos pop up if you're scrolling Instagram of like Dan Marino and Jim Harbaugh out there having like the longest throwing competition. Like that stuff is entertaining. It's like you're not trying to make it more than it is. It's an all-star event. The precision passing, hitting targets, if there's moving targets, who knows what it is. Kickers trying to have some fun. Like that's what All-Star Weekend should be about, not getting us to watch a fake game.
All right, so kick-tack-toe might interest me if Justin Tucker and Travis Kelce were on the same team. That might interest me. Dodgeball probably might interest me. You know where I'm going. Closest to the pin's the answer. The golf accuracy competition. 6 guys from each conference. They get to drive a golf ball, and then they work to hit it as close to the hole as possible. And then you get 3 points for your conference. You know I'll watch golf. And I'll watch these guys, and I'll feel better or worse about myself watching these dudes play. I'm all about close to the pin on the golf.
It is skills competition.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, the skills, they're very fun. They're fun to watch, but you watch precision passing and walk away thinking Russell Wilson's the best quarterback on the planet. So.
Yeah, I just want to know who can hit a golf ball.
4th and goal.
Did I stutter? Beer me.
All right, so let's have a little bit of debate. I'm going to name a few matchups, and I put that in quote because, well, you'll see. So what I want you guys to do is you each choose one player and have a debate. I want you to make an argument. Tell me why that player will have a bigger impact on the Super Bowl. Let's start with Kittle or Kelce.
Well, I'm going to preface this by saying just because you pick one side of this, you're not dissing the other.
Absolutely.
Right? Just because you think Michael's better than LeBron doesn't mean you think LeBron stinks. All right? Fair enough?
That's not fun.
Playoff Kelce is the best tight end, period. I mean, playoff Travis Kelce. George Kittle's great, and he will make plays. Playoff Kelce, especially this year, as motivated as he's been with the spotlight he is, Kelce's the answer. You can have the same one.
So this is one where I've said it, and people have a hard time wrapping their mind around it.
Yeah.
Playoff Kelce is different. But I do think George Kittle's the best tight end in the NFL.
Really?
He blocks.
Travis Kelce doesn't.
Okay.
And so I think these are like as you said, you can say one thing and two things can be true. Like Travis Kelce is the dude you want right now because he does more for Kansas City than George Kittle does for San Francisco. Because you have Brandon Ayuk, because you have Christian McCaffrey, if Deebo Samuel's healthy, you're less reliant on George Kittle, which is why you can get up one of those games where it's like 3 catches, 6 yards, and a touchdown. Where Travis Kelce needs to get you like 10 and 100 with a touchdown. So the playoff Travis Kelce is different. George Kittle, his impact is more felt in blocking, but what's going to be the bigger play in the Super Bowl is going to be Kelce.
All right, what about Jones or Bosa?
It's Chris Jones. It's Chris Jones. He is the most impactful player in the front seven for Kansas City. Always comes up with the big play. Classic guy. He can line up inside and outside. He is huge for a guy that can be as quick as he is off the edge to make an impact. And, you know, it's crazy when you think about contract negotiations, how close like Kansas City was to not having Chris Jones on the field. How do we want to pay this guy, this or that? I'm not sure about it. It's the best defensive player on your roster.
You're right. But the Bosa side is how versatile and how fast he is. And he gets to the quarterback, and he gets there in so many different ways. And you're right. The answer is Jones. But Bosa is insanely disruptive. And that's why what you've done here, DC, is really good, because there isn't necessarily a wrong answer, even when there's a wrong answer. The answer is Jones. But Bosa will make noise. Bosa will get to the quarterback. And his job is going to be to contain and get to. If that makes any sense. Not let Mahomes get outside. But, yeah, the answer is Jones.
Well, I will say, though, if 49ers win, we will be talking a lot about Bosa. So I definitely – I see the argument on both sides, and you're absolutely right. I'd like to make this difficult.
No, it's good. It's really good.
All right, so finally, let's make it difficult. Mahomes or Christian McCaffrey?
Well, so this isn't difficult because McCaffrey is the best running back in the NFL, and Mahomes is the best offensive player. And so the answer is Mahomes. He's a witch. And can a team win a Super Bowl with like an average quarterback and Christian McCaffrey? We'll see, because that's what most of you think Brock Purdy is, right? Can you win with? We'll see. The bottom line is Mahomes is the difference. And when Christian McCaffrey went to San Francisco, I think we all said that's the difference. That's what puts them over the top. And so, is he the best running back in the game? Is he the best maybe non-quarterback offensive player in the game? I agree with yes and yes. But Patrick Mahomes is the best.
So this is one where I see the basis of the question of how impactful Christian McCaffrey is. But I think the easiest answer, if you take Christian McCaffrey off the field, San Francisco can still win a game. You take Patrick Mahomes. Yes. Can they? Yes. Elijah Mitchell, if Brock Purdy's good and we believe is a good quarterback, they can still win a game.
You know what? Looking at it that way, you may sway me the other way. Because
you take Patrick Mahomes off the field,
they're not winning.
Kansas City's not winning that game.
Yeah, I'm not sure San Francisco can win without McCaffrey.
Then Brock Purdy ain't that good. Like, that's what we're saying.
Is there Debo's hurt, so now it's down to Kittle and Ayuk. And you're right. Elijah Mitchell around the goal line has been really good.
Elijah Mitchell is a fine runner.
He's fine.
He's not special like Christian McCaffrey. But if we believe San Francisco is that good of a football team, that's fair. Brock Purdy's a good quarterback.
I mean, the answer is Mahomes, right? Yeah. I mean, are we all on that?
It's quarterback. It's the most important.
Of course it is. Yeah. All right, that's good. Where do you keep coming up with these? I give you a ton of credit.
I don't know. I don't know. But you know what? It has been so much fun this season doing this, because it just thinking about football is, I don't know. I guess I'm a nerd, but I think it's exciting. So.
Yeah, right.
You do a great job.
No, these are terrific. Tomorrow, right in this time slot, Kenny Thomas will be here. Don't forget to be with us, kicking it with Kenny. We'll talk about the Lobo basketball game from yesterday. We'll look forward, what it means. The former Lobo great, the 11-year NBA veteran. We'll get into all kinds of stuff. Tyrese Halliburton's comments about having to play, I don't know, why should I have to play 3/4 of the games to get bonus? And we'll talk to Kenny about all that. That'll be 9 o'clock and the whole 9 o'clock hour tomorrow. From 9 to 9:30, we will kick it with Kenny. That's right about now tomorrow. And don't forget JJ's podcast. Tell us about the Cherry Rundown that you got going.
Ooh, the Cherry Rundown podcast. It is my take on the biggest stories in Lobo athletics. Like, well, how is that any different than what you do on the radio? Well, I wear a little bit more of my Lobo hat in that conversation. Take you inside what I do with women's basketball. I do work calling games with women's soccer, softball. So it's one that it can transition throughout the year. Right now, of course, we're hyper-focused on hoops, and I have a lot of hoops takes and really getting in-depth. Like, I'm going to break down Jerry Palm's comments on an episode I'm going to record today and mix that in with grading the entire month of January for Lobo men and look at Lobo women. And then I'll be able to bring you stuff that we wouldn't put here, honestly, like softball conversations, soccer conversations on the Cherry Rundown.
All right, so where can people find that?
It's right there on the homepage, sportsanimalabq.com. Pops up right there.
All right. So don't forget that, and that's updated regularly, so enjoy that. That's just additional content from JJ, and it's just so good and so cerebral and so well thought out. I know you'll enjoy that. All right, when we return, you guys are in big on Lobo basketball last night. You got questions, and so I want to get into what does it mean? Where do they go from here? The Lobos lose last night, 86-78. Where is your concern? Where's your level of concern, or is there any? It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal, your home for smooth jazz and the Super Bowl.
You already know that 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal, is your home for the NFL postseason.
Sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
You make my heart better. Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Like me, shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We here at Clark's Pet Emporium welcome you to bring in your pets. We know that having your pet with you makes the experience of shopping for them even better. And we welcome you to bring your kids also. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in Burquia. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone.
I'm on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal. I apologize about my voice. It's much more smooth jazz today. I don't even think I could do like a Lapis or a screaming boy. I just couldn't do that guy today. I don't know that I have it in me. But starting your February, the month of love, off with a little smooth jazz in the morning for you. You're on the Sports Animal to bring out the animal in you. And she'll like it too, fellas. It's the opening drive. Jeff, JJ, and DC. The number to get in is 505-246-0610, 888-922-0610. The text line is that number too. Emails Jeff at sportsanimalabq.com and JJ at sportsanimalabq.com. Watching the show over on ProView Networks, Comcast Channel 26. Adrian's producing for you there. And you can get it on our Facebook page, the OD in the AM. JJ, I didn't see this, so I'm going to yield to you, and maybe you did. And I'm not going to lie. I did doze off like in the last 50 seconds and then woke up and it was over. Did you guys have an issue with Rice taking a shot when he was acting like he was dribbling out the clock and then yelling F you at the student section and then going over to his teammates and saying F them over and over? I guess I didn't see that.
The shot, no, because I have no problem if you're not really running offense and the shot clock's about to expire. Just throw it up towards the rim.
Yep.
Like, who cares? At that point in time, it was one of those, just throw it up towards the rim instead of taking the turnover. Like, just throw it up, it hits the rim, run out the clock the other way.
Yes,
that's fine. What did he go off on the students? Maybe he said a couple words, but I'm sure they said worse to him back then. They didn't go up. He didn't go into the stands. Didn't attack anyone. There you go.
Yeah. All right, we got breaking news. The Washington Commandos. I know they're called Commanders. Why do you keep calling them Commandos? Why do you keep saying they're in San Diego? The Commanders have hired a new head coach. Cowboy fan, take note. It is your you're now former defensive coordinator. Dan Quinn is the new head coach of the Washington Commanders, according to Adam Schefter, and he is never wrong. Replaces Ron Rivera. Quinn has been the defensive coordinator for 3 seasons. In Dallas, he previously was the head coach in Atlanta, where he was 43-42. So Dan Quinn was one of the no-brainer assistants who was going to get a head coaching job about a month ago. Then they gave up 40-something points in the first round of the playoffs to Jordan Love in Green Bay, and he cooled. And everybody else hired, and last team standing was the Commanders. It sounded like they wanted Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator of the Detroit Lions, who said, yeah, no, I'm good. And so Dan Quinn gets hired. Defensive coach, team with a big question mark at quarterback. This is an interesting one to me, because I didn't know that. I thought this was the spot that he lands.
When we get into these situations, we always think 180. Old guy to young guy, offensive guy to defensive guy. This is the same thing as Ron Rivera on the surface.
Former coach, defensive coordinator. Yeah.
And for Washington, this is less a coaching thing, and this is just all about rebuilding that roster. And, they're one of those teams. Sam Howell had his moments. Can Sam Howell have a Baker Mayfield-like season that leads you 9-10 wins.
Do you think Sam Howell's going to be their opening day quarterback?
No.
I do not either.
Not now. But, that was what they were working with last year. Now they're resetting their franchise clock when it comes to quarterback next year. Dan Quinn comes in, and when a head coach comes in, too, it's not necessarily about the scheme. It's what can Dan Quinn establish. And for Washington, it's a fresh start across the board. New ownership group, new coaching staff, new general manager. So if you're a Commanders fan, you have to at least have hope because it's a brand new future for your entire franchise.
Fair enough. All right, Art wants to talk about the Lobos last night. So Dan Quinn is the new head coach of the Commanders, and the Cowboys are looking for a defensive coordinator. Art, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. How you living, Art?
Good, my friend. How are you? Long time no here.
It's good to hear you. What's happening?
I just, I thought that maybe they fell in love with too much with the outside shot. I think if they would try to continue to penetrate or put zone trap on Boise State, slow them down, and give their bigs more of a chance again to flow the game, they may have been able to pull it out. But I think they need to not be so rigid to that. They don't want to make a change when there should be a change. But otherwise, I just think Boise State just came to play, and they weren't ready. They thought they were, but they weren't. But I'll listen, and thank you, Jeff.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I think sometimes you just get beat. And like Richard did after the game, you tip your hat and you say, you know what, those guys played pretty well.
Yeah, of course, we all saw the Lobos settle for too many shots, not look good defensively, but that's part of sport, is you have to adjust to the moment. They are game planning for you, just like New Mexico is game planning for Boise State.
Their coaches get paid too? Their kids are on scholarship?
It's execution. And then sometimes you're not able to execute your game plan exactly how you want. So how do you handle the moment? And Boise State took the Lobos out of their game. It's easy to say, hey, keep driving to the basket, driving to the basket. Yes, but there's length. There was challenges presented to the Lobos, and now this is one of those little things. Well, they'll go back and go, all right, how do we be better in our half-court sets when we're not running? And on the same thing, how do we be better in our half-court defense when we're not getting turnovers?
I will tell you this, Donovan Dent kept getting to the basket.
Yeah.
I mean,
he did.
At will. Donovan Dent slithered, slipped, snuck the basket all night long.
Like that.
Slithered, slipped, and snuck. Did I say? Yeah. No, he was that good last night. Rudy sent me a text on text line 505-246-0610 regarding last night's loss to Boise State. To quote Dean Vernon Warmer, I hate those guys. It's an Animal House quote. It's a great one. Dean Warmer, when they went out, I hate those guys. So, have you ever seen Animal House?
Not the whole movie.
You should watch every scene. Am I wrong, dude? Every single scene.
Every scene
is a classic. In that movie. Yeah. I mean, it just goes from Belushi is a freaking legend.
Nerds.
Niedermeyer dead.
I didn't know we were going down this road today, but I guess I know what I'm watching tonight.
It is one of the. I stumbled across it about 3 months ago again, and I'm like, this scene's great. Oh, this scene's great. Rudy just quoted Dean Wormer. I hate those guys.
My dad and brother were in fraternities, so that was a staple in our household.
It's a big deal up at Oregon because that's where it was shot, and that's where they do shout. But every scene, man. If you ever stumble across it, it's worth the 2 hours of letting your mind turn off and just laugh, because every single scene is just classic. All right, 505-246-0610. So, Cowboy fan, you got another little issue. Not just about talking about your head coach, not just talking about your quarterback, but now you got to go, Bill Belichick, defensive coordinator.
Available.
Would Bill Belichick take? I think he would never let that happen, right? I mean, he'd just say fire me now, right? I mean, honestly,
yes.
I'll bet Jerry made the call. You want to bet?
Bill, I got a job now. Now Mike's going to be my coach, but now listen. I think you could be our defensive. We got the young fellas. The one that wears number 11 and the other one. And Belichick, well, all right, I'm on to Dallas. I mean, that's right there. I was pretty close, right, with my tone. I hate those guys. That was Dean Wormer. All right, Cowboy fan, come on in. 505-246, because holy small, I got some ideas. I'm not sure I do. Do you have ideas? Where they go for defensive coordinator now? Ron Rivera? Oh, that'd be something. Ron Rivera's a good defensive mind. We'll talk about that when we get back. How's your car? I know you're in it right now, but I mean, and it's driving. I hope it's driving well, but how does it look and smell? And I know it gets that way, right? All the sludge, the mud, the road salt, the dirt from winter, and then you drag it in, and then the French fries that are under the seat and all the, take care of it. It's one of your biggest investments. Call On the Spot Automotive Detailing and have them come out and detail your car. You're going to tell me you don't have time, and I get it. I don't have time either. You don't need time, boys and girls. They come to you wherever it works for you and whenever it works for you. What does that mean? You're busy, man. I'm in the office. I'm in the office all day. Okay, cool. Have them come out. They'll be in the parking lot. They'll give you a text. You've got time to go outside, meet them, and take a look at it and go, wow. Because everybody else could be standing around your car saying, wow, how do I get that? Well, you just go to otsdetailing.com. That's what they do. When they're done, it looks and feels and smells like the day you took it off the lot. They were awarded Best in the City for 2023 because they're the best at what they do. They're reliable. They're efficient. They are On the Spot Automotive Detailing. Valentine's Day is 2 weeks away. Dude, Valentine's Day is 2 weeks away. This is a great gift. I promise you she will love it. Book online, buy online. otsdetailing.com. That is otsdetailing.com.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma. My brother. My tutor. My dad and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in Burquia. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
You got a text from Jeff. It says, if Jerry Jones was football smart, he'd bring Belichick in as GM and give him full control of running the team. But Jerry Jones ain't football smart. That's why he keep losing. I don't know that I agree with that. I mean, what has Belichick done?
Ooh, that's the opposite of football smart right now.
Yeah, I don't agree with it either. What has he done to tell me I want to give him control of player personnel?
That's been the biggest issue with
I agree.
the Patriots the last 2 seasons is not being able to add enough talent,
Yep.
especially on the offensive side, to elevate Mac Jones.
Yeah, I agree. Howard, you're a Cowboy fan. How you feeling? Good morning, Howard.
Belichick as GM would be a disaster.
I think so too.
I don't think he's done anything in his body of work to prove he's any good with personnel whatsoever in New England. So, but my surprise is, why are people not talking about Mike Vrabel?
I like that. I think Vrabel would be really good as defensive coordinator there. I'm surprised he didn't get a job in the cycle. I'm really surprised he got left out.
Yeah, I'd like to see either him or Ron Rivera, because in my thought process, and I don't know, you guys tell me what you think, I don't think Washington made themselves any better at the head coaching position by hiring Dan Quinn and letting Ron Rivera go. I don't believe they're any better.
Yeah, I don't know either. I've always liked Ron Rivera, but it was time. Something had to happen there. And you got new ownership. They're going to do everything brand new. Dan Quinn, I thought, was decent as a head coach in Atlanta. I thought he got let go too quickly. All right. So that said, he's been a good defensive coordinator basically up until the Green Bay game. So they had a really bad playoff game. I'd have to dissect that more to think if I think it was players or if it was coaching. And you know where I tend to lean on that. Players make plays. So I don't know if they upgraded or not, but it does feel a lot like it's a very similar hire, doesn't it?
It does. It seems like it's a parallel move, but I really want to see Vrabel or Rivera there, and jumping in on the Lobos last night. Boise State's always kind of been a nemesis for us, and you could not have said it any better, Justin. Sometimes you just get beat.
Yep.
Move on to the next game. Take care, guys.
See you, Howard. Text line says from AC, I really don't like the hire of Quinn. He is Rivera 2.0. It brings nothing. He went to a Super Bowl with Shanahan as his offensive coordinator. After that, he's been garbage. Washington will be in the same place in 5 years. I hate football. All right. Jeffrey wants to talk about Animal House? Absolutely. Hello, Jeffrey. How you living?
Well, I'm going to age myself here, but 1978, Animal House was released. Dating pretty good-looking woman here at St. Pius. We go to the drive-in theater. I'm, enthralled with the whole Sigma Chi or, a fraternity kind of scenario. My brother joins UNM fraternity. 1980, I join. We show Animal House, invite all the sororities over, and in and of itself, let me just tell you, that next 24-hour period, 1980, probably May, we created our own Animal House at Sigma Chi UNM campus. And let me tell you, Sigma Chi, or for the fraternity system at that time and the experience right in the early 80s, it was absolutely a lot like and paralleled so many of those scenes in Animal House. So
good thing there were no cell phones and video, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It just it resonated with me personally, I can tell you. And it's to your point, Jeff, every scene in Animal House was just amazingly, just viscerally funnier than hell, And so it was absolutely like the movie, at least from my perspective, 1980 to 1984 Sigma Chi UNM fraternity.
And thank goodness there were no cell phones and everybody had a camera in their hand because and the fact is, I guess statute of limitations is up, so you can admit it all now. No, it's good.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And it was absolutely, keep in mind, this was absolutely before any woke political correctness, any of that stuff. And again, I'm not proud of any of that, but I'll tell you, I'm just so gratified that I was able to live the Animal House experience at UNM. Go Lobos.
See you, man. See you. The debauchery that it was.
It's funny. My cousin was a Sigma at KU, and so I looked him up. They've been removed from campus.
Have they?
In 2022.
So the movie was set in the 50s, right? It came out in the 70s, but it was set in the 50s, right? And it was, yeah. It's. I mean, every scene, dude. It's just classic. All right, you guys are in on the emails as well. Back in the day, HB says on Louisville basketball. Back
back in the day before Davalos stole the students' seats. I remember Fennis Dembo of Wyoming running down the court, flipping off the students, Jeff. Okay? Yeah, there's all that. It all happened. This is from Dean. Dean says, good morning. Earlier in the year, my thoughts were 12-6 is going to win the Mountain West. However, I think that team from Logan might just hold on and win at 14-4. Next two games for the Lobos are huge, capital H-U-G-E. Similar to last year when they lost a couple of those type, they'll get the Broncos in Boise. No more pit losses. A 10, 11, 12 seed better than the dreaded 8 or 9. Look, and if you didn't hear Jerry Palm, it's worth your time to go back and listen on the podcast today. Jerry Palm from CBS Sports was with us. You can go to our website, sportsanimалabq.com, or wherever it is you get your podcast. But Jerry said they flat out, they've got to start winning some games away from the pit. And in his words were, if you're going to be a home court hero, you can't lose home games. Last night's game didn't cripple them. It did not. It's not a bad loss. It's not a good loss. But it's a home loss to a team in the 50s. Now you've got to go get 1 and probably 2 on the road from one of these top teams, and you can't lose in Laramie.
And what it does too is it puts you a little further away from cutting down one set of nets. It starts with, hey, try to get that Mountain West regular season championship. That's a huge goal, man. That's a big thing for a team.
Yes.
And if you're doing that, if you're on that path, then that's going to, of course, build your resume.
Yes.
And for the Lobos, they have a chance to get these games right back, but now we got to go do it on the road.
Frank, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. What's up, Frank?
Happy New Year, guys.
Happy February.
I got a couple things I wanted to touch on. I was a freshman in 1978, and I was in a fraternity called Delta.
The Delta House.
And we all got put on probation after that movie for starting a food fight.
Double secret probation?
It was great. We lived up to it.
Yes, so good.
Last night was disappointing. I think a lot of whiskey. And I'm using that as an excuse. Yeah. And I'm really enjoying Penny on the radio, but I'm old enough to remember how much they sucked on the road. God, they were terrible. And I kind of want to call Penny on that one.
I'll ask you about it tomorrow.
They'd lose by 20 or 30 points every time on the road.
No,
it was terrible.
We'll talk about it tomorrow because Dave's list teams were not great on the road. And those were Kenny's teams. We'll talk to him a little bit about that. Because, look, it's hard. And if you look at college basketball all around the country right now, it's hard for everybody. It's always been hard in college basketball. And I said this a few weeks ago. I think college basketball is the biggest home court advantage of any sport, period.
That makes sense. Yeah.
All right, man.
But I hope last night's not the beginning of the end. Let's see what happens.
All right. I appreciate you. Yeah. Thanks. All right. It's a loss. It's a loss. Let's see where it goes. I don't know if I think it's the beginning of the end. I'll tell you what, dude. The next couple of weeks.
Of course, this is what you want. This is the way it is. Especially when you have you're fine and unconfident. You did everything you had to do to set yourself up when you got to Mountain West play that all these games are going to be meaningful. But they don't have that eraser in the non-conference schedule. Right. And that's why we're not saying the season's over, this or that, but lost ways at home hurts a little bit more because you don't have anything goes, now it just kind of
last year you kept leaning on that same
place. Yeah, well, you have that, and so that gives you that chance, overcome one or two.
A couple years ago, you had that Wisconsin win.
Now you're just like everything is magnified in Mountain West play.
All right. Wrap it up when we get back. We still have time for you to get in. I got more correspondence from you, 505-246-0610 if you want to get in on Animal House, the Lobos, or Dan Quinn. That'd be a podcast. I mean, not safe for work podcast, but it would be.
That's the point of a podcast.
Seriously. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Smooth Jazz, the Sports Animal.
I'm Amy Lawrence.
Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
or surprisingly great rates? Contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth that's real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All about
My man! He loves us! This is Belichick, the GM, Bill Belichick, the coach. LOL, what an L take. 505-246-06. Time for you to get in. Jeff Indiana, JJ Buck, C. Rudy brought up Animal House. I'm just telling you, if you get it, if you've never seen it, I think you'd still appreciate it, right? If you just watch that for the first time. I mean, Belushi is unbelievable. It's fine. Ray, good morning. You want to talk about the Lobos loss?
How you doing, guys?
Hey, what's up, Ray?
Well, was at the pit last night, and it was kind of the perfect storm of situations working against the Lobos. Leon Rice is a crafty fellow, and I think he probably set us up for some copycat from the rest of the league on how to attack the Lobos. I think we're going to have to get a little taller on the perimeter, just a little, maybe 9 or 10 minutes a game.
That's true.
From somebody like Q. You know, they've got to motivate him and hold out a carrot for him to play with the intensity and the effectiveness that he did earlier this season, because you know he can stop the Blackshear and the Rice and whomever Vegas might throw at us in terms of backing down a smaller guard. You know, it's not a huge minute sacrifice for any of our other guys. It'd probably come from one of four or all of four places: Dent, House, Mash, and True. We're not talking about a huge change, but we would be talking about a way to kind of stop that bleeding that we saw last night, and it would also help on the boards. So anyway, interested in your comments, and we'll go from there. Thanks.
Thank you, Ray. He wants to see more Quentin Webb. He thinks a longer guard on the perimeter, and I think that's kind of what True Washington is in for. But what do you think? More minutes for Quentin Webb, or some minutes for
Quentin Webb's not getting in the rotation.
Yeah, I think that's right.
As you look at Quentin Webb, and you're like, wow, this dude's athletic. He's been in the gym since he was like 7 years old. It looks like. But if he's not playing minutes now, Rich Pitino's not inserting him into the rotation right now. What you saw, True Washington, Mustafa Amsil, Jamal Baker, that's your bench. Like the players last night, like that's the squad that Pitino's rolling with.
Jamal Baker.
And I know
Baker?
Yeah. It's Washington, Amsil, Baker. Like that's plus the starting five. Like that's who UNM's rolling with. That's their key players. And this is a little similar to the reaction you heard early in conference. Was bring this guy, bring that guy off the bench. If they're not in the rotation now, they're not going to become a part of the rotation. And I will say, yeah, there was frustration last night, but you weren't saying that coming off the Nevada game where Blackshear or Lucas didn't get in double figures. Like the backcourt was fine defensively.
So he said Leon Rice is a crafty fellow. And this is a blueprint. Look, if Max Rice isn't going nuts, I think the Lobos may win that game last night. I got a text earlier. This is from, let me find it, from Jim. And he said the difference last night wasn't Max Rice. Dent and Rice canceled each other out. It was the defensive intensity and poor shot selection and uneasy with the size besides Dent. So basically what he was saying is their size bothered you last night. And I don't, and so that goes back to this guy's point and to Ray's point, the size on the perimeter, right? Their guards were bigger than your guards. That's going to be the trade-off, man. Mashburn and House are terrific. They're small. Now, I have no problem with Mashburn. I'm sorry, with House on the perimeter. I think he's a pest. I think he makes plays. If he gets back down, you're in trouble.
Max Rice wasn't backing.
No, I'm not telling you that's what happened last night.
But it's also you can't come in this morning and say Quentin Webb needs to play when you just when one of the guys that you mentioned was Blackshear and he scored 9 points against you on Sunday.
Yeah, I agree with that. I gotta agree with that. All right, Max Rice is the new Hunter Maldonado, says Lobo Hobo. Jeff, it seems like he's been in a Bronco uniform and Lobo basketball just forever, and Lobo basketball just doesn't match up well against him. Okay. This one is from Richard. I know. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Dude balls out against New Mexico. Yes. Richard says on San Jose State, Jeff, I got to wonder if some of these teams are even trying to win. Spartans are playing midweek at 11 o'clock in the morning local time. 150 in the built. Heck, only 4 to 5 of their cheerleaders and chaperones bother to show up. You aren't going to pull the upset against the Lady Lobos playing under those conditions. Okay. Did they say why they're doing 11 o'clock in the morning on a Wednesday?
It was supposed to be a school day game.
But it wasn't.
But the school was canceled. Right. The attendance would not have been different if they played that game at 7. And by the way, UNM wants to play that game at 11 a.m.
Yeah, because you got home. Yeah, you got the hell out of there. Yeah. Well, that was good. Rod's in on San Diego State, Jefferson. I think the main difference in San Diego State this year is the way they defend. It's not the same level as in the past. They've never been great on offense. They always counted on keeping the ball out of the hole, and they aren't getting those 56, 51 wins this season. They're good defense. Look, San Diego State's just, here's the deal. To say they're not as good as last year is, first of all, I think it's right. But that doesn't mean they stink. You know what they are? They're as good as they were most of those years. Last year, they went to the national championship game. Last year, they were one of the last 2 teams left standing in college basketball. JJ, I think that's right. They're not as good as last year. They lost Mensah, Keyshawn Johnson, Aguaca Rope, Matt Bradley. I mean, yeah, you're right. You're right. They're probably not as good as they were last year.
Harry, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. What's up, Harry?
Hey, not too much. Hey, I was just going to tell you, I was listening to the Bronco News Network yesterday, just listening to Coach Pitino from the day before when you did an interview for him, and I was continuing listening to it, and they were really bagging on Max Rice as far as their hometown. They're saying that he's getting too many minutes, he's throwing up too many shots. Well, I'll tell you what, he must have lit it up last night. I don't know whether it was that, calling him out yesterday, but they were, from what I listened to, I didn't think he was going to play that much. Man, oh man, did he light it up. Unfortunately for us.
Listen today and let me know what they say, because I'm going to guess they may have changed their tune. They're not asking for Quentin Webb up there today. I promise you that.
Hey, thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Appreciate it.
It's amazing what winning does, right? But that's what it is. Look, I hadn't heard the name Quentin Webb, again, since the last loss. The UNLV game, it was we need more Quentin Webb and Sebastian Forsling, right? That's what we're hearing on the calls. I don't know that Quentin, I mean, here, and to Ray, the caller, my guess is, well, it's not my guess. Richard wants to win more than you do. He is bonused on winning. He gets paid on winning, right? I mean, that's his job. If Quentin Webb could help them, I got to believe he'd be in the lineup. I'm not telling you he's not a good player. And I hear what you're saying on the length. That's why you might see a little bit more true Washington against bigger guards. Right? He may get more minutes to help you on the defensive end. And I think he can help you offensively as well. Right? This is the issue when we came back last year from Vegas after the conference tournament, and we saw the bigger guards hurt the Lobos on the perimeter. How do they get bigger? How do they get better defensively? Well, you've told me, and you've been right. Over the last 5-game win streak, they were really good defensively, weren't they? So I'm not going to lose my mind over the one game. Just hope it doesn't turn into a trend, and I don't think it will. All right. Thank you to Jerry Palm for being with us today from CBS Sports. Jim Rome Show is next. The Herd with Colin Cowards after that. 2 Men On is here at 4 o'clock. And I know you guys want to come back tomorrow and do it again at 7 a.m.?
Let's do it.
All right, we'll do that tomorrow. Adrian, great work on your side. DC, terrific stuff. Big day for you?
Huge day.
Enjoy it. Be good to each other, please. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing. We'll smell you tomorrow.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
Here at Clark's Pets, we understand your pets. We take meticulous time to find out more about them. Dig deep into their world to understand their needs. We do research for knowledge of each pet, so you can trust Clark's Pets to provide you the best products and service for your pets, because we work hard to understand all of their needs. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part,
so that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.